Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And Monk has been released to Dragonflight with all of their new goodies. And in today's video, I'm going to be covering all of those goodies that they are going to be getting. So if you're curious about playing a Monk moving forward into Dragonflight, this is going to be a great video to watch, specifically the Windwalker specialization. And this could quite possibly be the most overpowered set of talents I've seen for a class, and I think that Windwalker monks will be very happy with what it seems that they will be receiving in this initial release of their talents to their class. I really hope that since seeing some of these new talent trees, that they go back to some of the first ones and give them a bit of a touch up so that they feel to be the same caliber as these talent trees, because these ones are a lot more fulfilling, taking from multiple expansions and giving you way more than some of the earlier iterations. On the first row of talents, you'll see that you're going to be able to get access to Soothing Mist. Unlikely that you're ever going to want to use this with some of the other more powerful talents that you are getting. Tiger's Lust, some basic just talents that are going to reduce damage taken, access to your normal abilities. We don't really see like the first significant thing on the normal talents until we get to Vivacious Vivification, which is Vivify is now instant cast. And this is kind of why I feel like you're likely not going to be wanting to use Soothing Mist. Just being able to use Vivify as an instant cast is going to be a way more efficient heal because it doesn't cost mana. You're just going to be able to instantly run around the pillar, healing yourself, picking yourself up. This could quite possibly be the most overpowered thing when it comes to PvP that I've seen as far as talents go. Transcendence, Ring of Peace. Again, nothing really too out of the woods here. Fortifying Brew, we've got options to customize our Fortifying Brew, either to reduce its cooldown or to increase its dodge and armor values. I really like that kind of way of customizing your defense so that you can anticipate what type of damage is incoming towards you and create a unique way to deal with it. We've got options between Chi Torpedo or Celerity. So you're going to be able to get Celerity. Plus, I think you can be able to get 2 charges of roll, which is a little bit unfortunate. That's connected by a spell that you don't really want. Fast Feet, Rising Sun Kick damage is going to be increased by 35%. Spinning Crank, you really can't go wrong with that. Just flat out increased damage. Chi Wave and Chi Burst, depending if you want to go for damage. I really liked the Missa Pandaria Chi Burst on Windwalker. It was just like literally a Kamehameha and just eradicated people, but I probably think it's going to be unlikely that it's hitting as hard as that was. We're seeing Diffuse Magic. We're seeing Dampen Harm. You're going to be able to stack 2 major defensive cooldowns while having instant Vivify. You're going to be basically impossible to kill unless you're locked down in a stun, which is absolutely crazy. Touch of Death can now be used on targets with less than 15%, but this is rank 2. We can also reduce its cooldown, kind of meh. We also can get Expel Harm just for more instant healing if we didn't already have enough at this point. We can get Escape from Reality, which is the previously kind of legendary where you could portal twice. So you can Transcendence and then Transcendence back to where you were. Also, it looks like if you cast Vivify on yourself, its healing is increased by 70% and you get a refund. So when you port, you are going to be healing for a huge amount. You're going to be God mode, pretty much. Windwalking, so if you want to get the increased movement speed to your allies, although choosing to opt out of that, like it's not really that valuable. You can go after some more important talents. Save them all. When your healing spells heal more than 3 people below 35%, heal for an additional amount. Kind of meh. And that gets you into the Summon Jade statue. So like, would you ever want to be a Soothing Mist Windwalker? I mean, you could, but doesn't sound as good as the instant Vivify spamming portal stuff. Resonant Fists, when 3 consecutive abilities hit more than 3 enemies, deal additional damage. So if you chain a bunch of AoE spells back to back, you're going to get a bonus hit of damage, and then this is under construction. Bounce Back, when a hit deals more than 20% of your maximum health, reduce all damage by a certain amount. That seems really good for Windwalker. And then you can get the Summon Black Ox statue, which I think is just a taunting statue. So unfortunately, the final row of talents not super appealing to you for Windwalker until we see what this is, and I'm assuming this is kind of like the Windwalker specific one, so this one could be really crazy. When we get back into the Windwalker specific talents, you're going to see that you just get Ascension baseline, Power Strikes. So your Tiger Palm is going to be generating additional chi and dealing a lot of damage, which means you're going to be getting a lot more damage outside of your cooldowns, which is something that previously Windwalker was struggling a lot with. Just Fist of Fury damage. Open Palm Strikes. So Fist of Fury does damage. There's 5% chance to refund chi. Just more passive damage. Gale Burst increases damage done by your Touch of Death. Mark of the Crane, which I think is that proc that gives your spinning crane kick massive amounts of damage. Glory of the Dawn, so getting that duplicate rising sun kick, carrying that forward, which is going to be a lot of damage. Blackout kick damage increased by 50% and strikes an additional 2 targets. So if you want to get some kind of cleave, so that could pair into this like 3 abilities hit more targets type of deal. So if you know you're fighting like multiple melee DPS, you might be able to get a ton of cleave damage out onto the target. This leads into a really powerful talent. So Storm, Earth, and Fire or Serenity. This has always kind of been a decision for a Windwalker at the moment. Typically, you're taking Storm, Earth, and Fire against teams that can't crowd control your images. But if teams have AoE crowd control, you're going Serenity. So that type of decision being carried forward makes sense. Jade Ignition. Whenever you deal damage to a target with this of Fury, you gain a stack of chi. Energy up to a maximum of 30 stacks. Using Spinning Crane Kick will use the energy to detonate in a chi explosion, dealing 3,000 damage to all enemies. The damage is increased by 5% for each stack of chi energy. So curious if you can build a build around Spinning Crane Kick towards the left side or not. Drinking Horn Cover. The duration of Storm, Earth, and Fire is extended by 0.4 seconds for every chi you spend. These images do a lot of damage. That could be a lot. And of course, it leads into Zwen. So you're likely going to want to be going for that. Hit Scheme. Dealing damage with Blackout Kick increases the damage of your next Keg Smash. You don't have Keg Smash. Is that going to be... I think they got to add something to that, I think. This seems like it's not 100% complete with what I've seen there. But when we get more into like the bottom side, you'll see like Zwen's Bonds, abilities that activate combo strikes, reduces the cooldown of your invoked Zwen. And we get like a really big win here, which is the return of Strike of the Windlord. And if you didn't play in Legion, yeah, this ability one-hit KO people. So you're getting a lot more consistent damage outside of your go, and you're going to be able to amplify your go by a significant portion with Strike of the Windlord. Like, you're getting some of the best things from the last 3 expansions. Really, the only thing that I would have liked to see for Windwalker was the kind of like images from Mists of Pandaria where you could split yourself off into 3 versions of yourself on different targets, and it would duplicate all of your spells at reduced power. But it had really cool gameplay of like, do I want to triple pressure, keep mortal wounds on multiple targets? Completely unique experience to any other class. That version of Storm, Earth, and Fire was probably my favorite for Windwalker, so I was kind of looking to see if that was making a return. That would kind of sell me on playing the spec. But if you're a Windwalker main and wants to play competitively, like, this is probably the most insane thing I've ever seen. Teachings of the Monastery. Tiger Palm is going to cause your next Blackout Kick to strike an additional time. You can get it for 3. Blackout Kick is a 15% chance to reset the remaining cooldown. Oh my god. So you're just going to get the resets, the procs, and the Rising Sun. You're going to be doing damage the whole game. And then we got Zwen's Bond, Fury of Zwen, and Empowered Tiger Lightning, Rising Sun Kick damage. You can go for Phalanx Stomp. The thing is, this was kind of a meme for most of Shadowlands, so I guess like maybe it's not all winning here towards the bottom side. Curious how that plays out in Mythic Plus, but we've got Bone Dust on the right side of the talent tree, so we got to find a way to get down to Bone Dust. And this is now going to probably be where the difficulties of this comes in. There's the proc for Spinning Crane Kick that I was looking for. Touch of Death deals 40% increased damage, can be used a second time within 5 seconds before its cooldown is triggered. These are both not like spectacular, but we can try and get Bone Dust Brew, and then you have to choose between Calculated Strike, Spinning Crane Kick bonus from striking a unique target with Tiger Palm. Blackout Kick is going to where's I think you also want to try and get Kiefer's. So where is Kiefer's at? Ooh, this is a tough one, man. That's a tough one right there, because Kiefer's is all the way down here, and you will not have enough. And there's an NYI. This could be even more insane talent. So you're gonna have to lose a little bit of just like flat damage on your Rising Sun Kick if you want to be able to get Kiefer's, which is kind of the ability to like one-hit KO somebody. And if you have the Kiefer's up for a Strike of the Windlord, and you Bone Dust Brew them, you're probably going to want to opt to drop some Rising Sun Kick damage, even though it's quite a lot. And you're not able to get after the Zwen's Battle Gear at the same time. Also, Invoker's Delight, which is kind of like the 30% haste. I'm wondering what type of builds you're going to come up with, because these seem so strange. Like, to me, I would initially think you want Kiefer's, you want Bone Dust, because that's where the powerful one-shots are. Plus, you get Strike of the Windlord. Plus, you're going to get Teachings of the Monastery, giving you more resets, giving you more Rising Sun Kicks. I'm hoping that Windwalker's in a position where it's not just like running behind a pillar the whole time in PvP when it doesn't have its cooldowns up and it's able to actually attack and engage in PvP, which it quite possibly could with some of the talents we're seeing towards the top side that are increasing your sustained damage overall. But there's a lot of like cheesy one-shot potential here with Strike of the Windlord, Kiefer's, Bone Dust. That's probably going to override, I would anticipate. Like Feline Stomp, it's probably never going to, this whole bottom right side is probably never going to be taken in PvP. And then will it be able to compete with these other options? Well, it's kind of a wait and see, but this is the most crazy build I've seen for Windwalker. Definitely a lot of interesting options that you're gonna have to pick towards the bottom side of the tree. Improvements, quality of life, things that are probably like way too powerful to actually continue going forward, like instant Vivify healing, the double port that's gonna buff your Vivify. Like, you are a crazy monster of a class right now for Windwalker. Definitely a spec that you need to check out. If you like this type of video and you want to see more with World of Warcraft, to make sure that you're making the best decision for yourself when it comes to picking a class or a comp or strategies, guides, and entertainment, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated, as I am working diligently towards the 100,000 subscriber goal of mine, a long-term goal that I would like to try and achieve by being as good of a resource as I possibly can for you. So if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, comment down below with your thoughts. Has this got you intrigued to check out the Monk? Because it's definitely got my eyes on it. I'm curious to see where it goes from here, because there's still a lot left to be on the table. And if you want to see gameplay, when the alpha gets into the beta testing phases, this channel is going to be a lot more gameplay. I know a lot of you in the comments say, like, show the gameplay. It's mostly because it's completely bugged and you press stuff, everything is not yet implemented or under construction, it doesn't work. So once it gets to that point where we can get the gameplay, this is going to be a lot of gameplay. So right now it's just kind of like, let's check out what we're going to be looking into, what's looking possibly good, some theory crafting. So don't get too mad about that. It's just a process of waiting for alpha to transition into beta. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.